Hi and welcome back to our channel, where we recap your favorite games for you. Today we will be recapping the all-time famous game called Far Cry 3. So without further ado, let's begin. The game begins with a group of youngsters having fun on an island. These youngsters are Grant, Riley, Liza, Oliver, Daisy, and Keith. They can be seen drinking and enjoying natural surroundings of the island. Everything seems to be perfect, until suddenly the scene shifts to a man holding a screen in front of Jason, which is now encaged. The mysterious kidnapper reveals himself to be Vaz, and he reveals his evil plans to ask for ransom from the captured youngsters' parents, as he believes all of them are from rich families. As Jason and his brother try to retaliate, Vaz yells at them and asks them to shut their mouth, as he threatens to kill them in case they make any trouble. Vaz makes sure that they get to know that he is in charge here of this ground. As he is talking to them, someone calls him and he leaves the scene with an evil stare at the captured prisoners. As Vaz leaves, Grant tries to open the knot of rope so that he can escape along with his brother Jason. At first Jason is unsure about this escape attempt, but Grant persuades him. Quickly Grant makes a plan and asks Jason to call the guard. As the guard comes towards them, Grant attacks him and escapes from the cage. Both of them then begin to navigate through the dark and threatening silence of the jungle. As they approach further, both Jason and Grant enter their camp office. There they find the mobile phone camera and map along with other things. They quickly grab all the stuff and start moving forward. On their way, Jason kills a man, which makes him panic, but his brother tells him that they need to keep moving as they have to find Lisa, Riley, and others. Jason and Grant gather their courage and start moving further, but on their way, they saw that these pirates are so brutal in their doings, which makes them even more scared. Soon a guard catches them and starts shooting at Grant. Jason tries hard to stop his blood, but Grant dies on the spot. But Jason has to secure his life, so he runs towards the jungle. He finally jumps into the water and becomes unconscious. As Jason gets his consciousness back, he opens up his eyes. He finds himself in a hut where a man is drawing a tattoo on his arm. His name is Dennis Roger, and he tells Jason that it is an act of bravery to take a sun bath on the pirate's island. Jason asks him about Grant, his big brother, but Dennis tells him that he is dead. After listening to this, Jason tells him that he needs to find his younger brother and his other friends. He asks Dennis to help him with this, but Dennis tells him that he can only help himself. Dennis can only help him in a way that will free him from this place. Then Dennis takes him outside and introduces him to the crowd by saying that he is the man who escapes from the vast camp of pirates, alive. The people listening to this cheer a lot. Dennis tells Jason that his escape is a sign of war. Dennis gives him some money to buy weapons, but Jason hesitates as he never shoots anyone. Upon listening to this, Dennis convinces him by saying that there is always a first time for everything. But before going on the mission, Jason has to learn about the jungle terrain, which will help him to understand where he can attack his enemy. So, he moves towards the tower where he can keep an eye on the whole place. Dennis appreciates his first step and asks Jason to show him a map. He motivates him by saying that it's society, not nature, which tells us a failure. So he needs to master the jungle, but as they are talking, a message comes through a walkie-talkie. It's a message from the pirates that they have an American girl whom they are taking to another camp. Jason recognizes her voice and tells Dennis that she is Liza, one of his friends. On their way, Dennis tells him about the outpost and the area near it. Jason soon realizes that they are going toward war, but he is ready to do anything so that he can save his friends. As they reach there, Jason attacks them and calls for Lisa, that he is about to get her. But soon he realizes that the outpost is empty because Liza has escaped from them when they are taking her here. Jason is extremely disappointed with all of this, but Dennis keeps up his morale. As he reaches back, he finds Daisy in the house of an old man. This man tells Jason that she tries to cut her arm with a poisonous thing, but he manages to save her by giving her an antidote. But now he is running short of the dosage, so Jason has to get it from a particular place where mushrooms grow. Thus Jason rushes to that place as he wants his all friends back. However, as he reaches that place, he starts feeling dizzy. Many voices start coming into his mind. He knows nothing about what's going on all around him, but he manages to take some mushrooms with him and delivers them to the man who can make medicine out of them for Daisy. Jason goes to the room where Daisy is waiting for him. She tells him that a doctor is a nice person and he takes her here. Both of them are so happy to see each other. Jason tells her about Grant, which makes her so sad that she again fell back to unconsciousness, but just before that she tells Jason that whoever killed Grant deserves to die. Before leaving, Jason asks the doctor that can he bring his other friends and brother here when he finds them. Doctor denies it as he cannot afford vast captives in his house because many of his men buy things from him, but Jason and Daisy convince him to shelter them as they will die otherwise. As Jason leaves the place, Dennis calls him and tells him that the pirates use satellites for their communication. Thus, to know the other's captive's location, he needs to get into their control room. This control room is present on the ship named Medusa, which is heavily guarded by the pirates. After making some efforts, Jason manages to get into the control room where he learns about the pirates' plan. They want to get the ransom from the kids' parents, but after that, they will sell them on the black market. They are also looking for Jason, but he fights with them and manages to escape from there. Soon he reaches back the village, where Dennis meets him and tells him that Vas has attacked the village and taken all the weapons with him. This is dangerous as he is preparing for war. However, according to Dennis, he has time to get his friends back because it will take time to demand ransom from their parents. But first he has to get back all the weapons that will help them in the fight against Vas. Thus Jason gets ready to go on the next mission. He manages to get all the weapons back, but on his way, he finds out about the location of his friends. As he reaches that place, he sees the clip of Liza playing in a room, in which the pirates are telling her to call her parents for help, otherwise they will kill her. After seeing all this, Jason starts looking for her madly, but in doing this, Vas captures him. He is mad at Jason, so he tries to kill Liza and Jason by burning fire around them and leaves that place. But Jason somehow manages to escape along with Liza. As they reach a safe place, Jason asks her about others. She tells him that they take Keith to a place called a bunker, but she knows nothing about the others. Jason also tells her that Grant is dead now. He takes her to Daisy where they have a reunion. Daisy tells them that she finds a boat, but it is damaged. If they can repair it along with the motor, they can escape from this deadly island. But first they have to get the others back. The next day, Jason along with Dennis go to meet with Citra in the temple. Jason asks her to help him in getting back his friends. At first, she denies to help him, but when he tells her that they have taken his brother, she agrees to help. But first, he has to prove himself as a worthy warrior. She asks him to bring back what has been lost. Dennis advises him to drink from the pot so that he can find the answer. As he drinks from it, he sees himself falling from the sky, and then he sees his younger brother Riley along with other friends. As he gets his consciousness back, he tells Dennis that he sees a blade that is decorated with ancient carvings. It is present in an old mansion, so he gets up to find it. But on his way, he encounters other pirates and Willis Huntley, but luckily he manages to free his other friend. Jason takes him back to where Liza and Daisy are waiting for them. They all are so happy to see each other. After spending some time there, Jason decides to find Keith. He finds out that they have sold him to someone named Buck. When Jason reaches his place, he also demands to find that ancient blade that Jason has seen in his dream. Buck tells him if he can bring this thing to him, in return he will give him Keith back. But before that, he needs to find out the compass which will help him in finding the location of the tomb. Jason somehow manages to get the compass from a ship and takes it to Buck, who tells him to follow it so that he can have that blade. Jason, after passing through dense jungle and many dangers, finally manages to get that ancient blade. As he tells Buck about it, he asks Jason to bring that blade to another place where Keith is present. Jason delivers the blade, but Buck does not allow Jason and Keith to leave. So a fight starts between both of them, in which Jason kills Buck. Then they both leave the place along with the ancient blade. Jason takes back Keith where others are already present, but at this point, Jason is emotionally disturbed as he has lost his brother and still has to deal with all of this alone. Liza tries to calm him down, but she cannot provide any help. However, soon Jason gathers his nerves and takes the blade back to the temple. Citra becomes so happy to see that Jason has brought the blade back, as it has their ancestors' blood. She takes him inside the temple and tells him the story that once long ago there was a lot of spawn filled with clean water, the bank composed of smooth sand, and the smell of blossom smoothed the air, but a giant lives beneath the pond's surface, devouring anyone who came there. Then a warrior came from the northern kingdom. He heard about the brutality of the giant, so he vowed to slay him. When both come in front of each other, the warrior cut off the head of the giant. The huge skull of the giant fell into the water and becomes the island on which they are standing right now. Citra tells Jason that her people are the descendants of that warrior. However, now another giant is raising on their island, so if he wants the blade to kill the giant, he needs to prove himself worthy of this weapon. Thus Jason helps them in getting back their warriors, and in return Citra gives him the power he desires to kill Vas. After completing this mission, he gets back to his friends. They tell him that they have fixed the boat, so now they can leave this island. However, Jason tells them to go, but he does not want to join them. They all are astonished after listening to this, but according to Jason, he finds peace on this island. During all this time, he feels like he belongs here. However, things will not go as they are planned. Jason's enemies took his friends again. After fighting with many of them, he gets to know from the dying doctor that those people take them to the temple. Jason rushes towards the temple, but as he reaches there, Citra makes him unconscious. She starts to perform some kind of ritual on Jason. According to her, it will make him pure. As Jason tries to get up, he starts to see fire all around. He also heard weird voices in his head. At the end of that fire, he gets the blade, but soon he realizes that he is in some kind of delusion. As he gets back to normal, Jason releases his friends and says that he does not want to become part of these violent things. Dennis becomes so annoyed that he attacks him, but Citra comes in his way and sacrifices her life for Jason. Citra dies in peace, but Dennis remains in the sorrow of killing his beloved Citra. At last, Jason is free now. Although he kills many people now, he wants to tame his anger. Finally, all of them leave the island and the game ends here. Thanks for watching. If you liked it, then please consider liking our video and subscribing to our channel. We will see you in the next one.